What's up? What's up?
What's happening?
How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
I was gonna go old school tonight.
What? Me? Why am I always out of the frame?
That's what I'm
Whoa.
talking about. That's it. I was gonna go old school. Old school. Do you want to? Oh,
You know what I got to do, man?
I'm not. Why I always have to be on the left, man?
Yeah.
Man, all right. I'm gonna let you have it, dude.
What's wrong with that, bro?
You know why? Because I'm in a good mood, and you know
Really?
why I'm in a good mood, brother.
Oh no.
It's about that time. It's about that. Who's that guy, man? You know who that guy is.
He's a little leprechaun.
He's fighting, man. He's a fighter, man.
He's a fighter.
Why you talk about him like that, man?
Man.
They changed they changed the logo. Notre Dame changed they're the leprechaun. I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
He's a football guy now. So
Really?
instead of the
Right.
he's got the football, man. They
that's
are
weird.
100%. It's just amazing when you find the right guy, when you find the right leader, which we have found in Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman, we believe. Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman. Listen.
Oh, Falgu, how
It's
long
funny.
will we have to endure this, bro?
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, this is the Notre Dame opening week show. We're not talking about anything except for Notre Dame football.
I can get off the station now.
You got your own problems coming up,
my
bro.
own problems. I was so close to wear my LSU hat.
Hey.
Like, nah, not today.
Come on, man. Have faith, man. They're only they're only a 4-point dog. Come on. Have faith, man. Have faith. All right. We're not here to talk about football. I know there's not hardly any football guys in this. We have musicians, man. Musicians. Some musicians, they're not into sports, man. I dig it. But you know what? We are local musicians.
XP.
And we are here for your audio and visual pleasure. Another Tuesday night. Chop It Up Tuesday. And we had to switch subjects. We're going to... some stuff came up. Some conversation. See, when you have conversations with people, people don't have conversations anymore. But when you have conversations with people,
Nick's comment proves that this would have been the perfect show. If you look at Nick's comment,
ideas, it sparks.
Look at Nick's comment. It would have been perfect for the day.
Look, it is Branford Marsalis' birthday. We love our brother Branford. We're gonna try to get Branford on the show.
Yeah.
And we were going to break down one of his tunes tonight, but we will save that for another day. We can't do the breakdown every week. I would love to, but we can't do it, man.
Okay, that's all right. It's one of my favorite piano players in the world, Kenny Kirkland.
Oh, well, I mean, one of mine too. So we will get back to that, but we're going to talk.
This is appropriate. This is appropriate to talk.
I think it is, man, because you know, like I said, some interesting. I sent you a little Instagram post from a guy that I like that had some good things to say about a couple of things, and that really got my head.
Oh,
there he is. Look at him, man. He's so cute.
Wow.
Look at him, man.
Wow.
I told Mike Veal I was going to get him a T-shirt with this on it. Mike Veal.
Oh, that would really. He would wash his car with that shirt.
Up to Georgia, man. Georgia. I mean, you know, I respect them, but you know, we are going to be the premier program in the country.
Wouldn't it be nice if y'all faced each other in the college football?
We already did. We played last year. We played last year.
What happened?
We beat them.
Okay.
Yeah. Glad you brought that up. Glad you brought that up. We've had some great games with Georgia. I mean, that's the.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some great. I mean, 2-point games, 3-point. All the last 3 or 4 games have been phenomenal, man. So, but anyway, there's plenty of time to talk about that. But let's get some housekeeping out of the way. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share this show, this stream, this podcast. I still have the edited moaning that I have to put up.
Yeah.
From a couple of weeks ago. That so it's just the, and you're gonna make a class. You're gonna make
a class out of it. Yeah.
it. So, because as long as we've been listening to that tune, we discovered quite a few new things about that, which is what you do when you put things under the microscope, which is going to kind of partly tie into what we're going to talk about tonight. Is that's Definitely. You have to put things under the microscope. So, but subscribe to the channel, set your notification bell, follow us on all the appropriate platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that stuff, and you will be gladly rewarded with a lot of 2 or 3 guys talking about various subjects that we feel are important. Just really want to talk and ain't got nothing else to do. But no, we take what we do seriously. We are here for the youngins and for the oldins. We got some oldins that are part of the community, so we don't want to leave them out. And but we try to be how should we try to be what? We try to be
all encompassing.
Well, yeah, but we're sharing. We're trying to share information. We're not hoarding information. We're trying
to yeah.
So, all those good things, and we have a couple of things going on that we've been talking about every week, but we're going to talk about them more until they happen. So we have the feedback session. Now we got some new blood. We got three new blood coming in that we talked to last night, right?
Yes.
And that was a funny story of how that happened.
So yes.
They ran to the stage, bro, to talk to you. I mean,
yeah.
The thing they asked you was what?
Tell me about the feedback and how can we get on it, whatever. So they had already been prompted. I was like, how did y'all even know about feedback? You know, it seems like somebody had cornered them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, they were all sitting at the table, so I just moseyed on over there and had a chat, as I like to do with the young kids. You know,
well, you know what that old adage is: when the students are ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Well, I think it's good to, again, we have to remember, man, there's not a lot of places for these guys to play anymore, like we had. So they're coming out to the session. Talk to them. Don't alienate them. Don't act like just introduce and talk and see what they're up to, and because they want to work on stuff, they want to get better, they want to be involved, but sometimes they're a little shy about that, right?
Right.
So introduce yourself and talk to them and ask them about what they're up to and all that kind of stuff. So that's gone well, for us. So we got 3 new guys that are going to be a part of this. But this is going down September 28th at the Academy Theater in Hapeville, 6:30 to 8:30. There is limited seating, so I'm not sure if tickets are up yet because we're still a good 5 to 6 weeks out. So, but they will be up
for 4 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah, is it 4 weeks and 2 days?
Yeah, 28th, right?
Man, it's crazy. I was thinking today is like the 20th or something. I don't know.
Nah, man, I gotta get that paycheck, bro.
You definitely know the dates, right? You
know the dates, bro.
So my bad. So we're 4 weeks into. So I'm sure they'll be up shortly. Tickets will be $15, and there will be a discount code that we will give you guys also. Second thing, just looking forward, November 2nd, we are doing another installment of the Latin Rhythms.
Yeah.
With myself, Frankie Quinones, who texted me yesterday. Some funny stuff. He found an old picture of myself and Tyrone and with Carla. Was it Craig? And Craig was in the picture.
Craig was on it, yeah.
So, and I had this hat on. He was asking me about my hat. And I said I need to bring that look back. It was pretty funny. So anyway, me and Frankie will be throwing down some more rhythms for you and covering some different stuff that we did in the first. Tickets will be this about around the same 15 with a discount code to come. So
Nice.
mark your calendars for that. And then you have a senior, or not a senior, but a recital coming up, right?
Yeah, faculty recital.
Faculty recital. Do we
Yes.
have any information on that?
There it is.
There it is. So this will
Yeah.
be at Kennesaw
Kennesaw
University.
State University, Bobby Bailey Performing Arts Center,
Kennesaw
Morgan
State.
Hall.
Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
So tell us about this, brother. What's going on with this?
Yeah, man. Well, I got the chance to, you have to put in like 2 years in advance to sometimes to get on the calendar. So I did, and I'm doing my faculty recital with the youngins, man. They're not,
Okay.
well, can we say youngins, or are they mid range right now?
Well, who are you? So is it other teachers, or is it
No. Usually we have our faculty concert, we call it Parliament. But
okay?
this is
That's what I
mine
thought.
specifically. So
Okay,
this
so
is,
okay.
Boone, Kelly, Lava High, Patrick. So it is a kind of like homecoming for some sorts, because Patrick went to Kennesaw
Right.
and Robert went to Kennesaw, and I don't think they've played there since they've graduated. So this is like
Okay.
full circle moment for them, which is really cool.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So I really want them to interact with the students and talk to them about, what it takes, especially after they hear them play and stuff.
Are you doing a master class beforehand, or just?
I wish, but I think I would do an impromptu kind of thing. But that's a good idea for a master class, to have, former students come through and kind of talk to them and play for them, and can talk to them from the position where I was once in your shoes, kind of thing.
Okay. And ticket link is in the chat, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So that is going to be killer, man. September 11th and
911.
So I think that's pretty much I wish there was more stuff going on. You and I will be going on a little mini tour next week.
Yeah, we got a residency in Aiken, South Carolina.
Aiken, South Carolina, with Carla Harris.
Yeah.
So we leave Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday, bright and early.
Okay. So, but there's just not, unfortunately, a lot happening, which is getting, I think, more and more frustrating. But you just try to, you try to make it happen how you can make it happen. I mean, there's, and it's not just like jazz; it's like all over the place.
It is definitely all over the place.
What I'm hearing. So, but that doesn't stop you from growing. And what we try to do, we try to help out with, which is growth. And because ultimately what we want to do is get better at what we do,
And how do we do that by chance?
Well, that's a good question, man. That's a really good question. Well, that depends on the individual,
The individual. You mean sometimes it's not the collective? It's
well, it's got to start. It's got to start with you, right? Does it start with you?
Yeah, it got to.
So we get a lot of questions. I had a few young guys asked me some questions last night, and then in my lesson, I have this older kid who comes to the house for his drum lesson on Tuesdays. So his older kid that
it's weird because he said it's Taco Tuesdays, but yet I can't see him eating tacos. I can't see that even happening,
So of course I'm talking about John Lamatino, but we just kind of talked today about some things, and and some things were carryover from this post that I sent you about a producer and people asking him how does he know so much about what he's doing, and he's like, well, I got with people who were really good at it, and I
Right.
studied with them. So I may pull that. I may send that to Brian, have him pull that clip up. But one thing that we wanted to talk about was because the hardest thing I think for individuals, especially now, because you have so many. I can't even imagine, man, trying to develop now, and the distractions, the how disciplined do you think you would have been in 2025 versus 1965? Weren't you born in 65, brother?
No.
You born in like you was born in like 80, weren't you?
No,
you born?
70s child, but that's all right.
You like in between, dude.
I am. I am.
You like you young, but you old, but you young. You got
Right.
in between things.
Well,
So
the problem would have been with me is once I got out of my mom's house. So there was so much structure and they told you what to do. So I would have been good. The only thing is, like, the monitoring would have been like with video games. Oh my goodness. Like we had an Atari that we had to hide. Had the dial that you had to change. You had to, it was like UHF and it had to be on channel 3 or 4, right?
right.
So me, Don, and Dave had a system. We'd be sneaking to play the game. Dave's supposed to watch out for the door, or whoever was not playing, watch out for the door. Then if we hear something, one slides the video game over, one turns the channel to UHF, and then we act like we watching TV, right?
Hilarious.
Man, my grandmother was notorious for like sneaking up, and it was usually when Dave's supposed to be watching the door. Dave was the youngest until my sister came along. So I was like, "Oh, y'all playing?" And she didn't say Atari. She said, "Y'all playing Atari." I was like, "Oh man!" So my mom was the teacher.
It's so evil. Atari, so evil. So
man,
evil.
Said, "Wait till I tell your mom when she get off from work." We're like, "Oh man!"
So, hilarious, man.
We be sitting there eating our dinner, and my grandmother didn't say nothing to my mom yet. We're like, "Oh, we're good. We're good. Everything's cool."
Think she forgot? You thought she forgot?
We thought she forgot, but my grandmother had a method. She let my mom rest up from the job because my mom, after dealing with those kids, she doesn't want to come home and deal with kids. So if my grandmother told her right away, she would probably say, "I don't have time to deal with that," right? She waited till my mom got food, nice drink and stuff like that, comfortable, watched a couple of shows and stuff. And she said, "You know them boys is playing Atari." They were like, "Oh no, man." So I said all that to say, with all the stuff, my mom was a teacher and she was really loved cutting edge of technology and stuff. So she would have dealt with all that stuff. So I would have been good up until like 22. I think I was still living at home. 23, 24. Distractions would have probably had me. But I probably would have been really decent by that time, maybe.
Yeah.
So what about you? You think that would have got you?
Nah, I'd have been off the hook, man. With all this going on, there's no way, dude. Practice what? Like, nah, man. Nah.
So you have sympathy for the youngins now because of what's going on?
I do, man. No question. 100%. Because when you're young, you want to experience everything, and the biggest influencers in your life are your friends, man. So you got if you hanging out with the wrong cats.
Yeah, there was no internet, so you had to just like find cats and play a band and stuff. Now you don't have to even leave your room, bro, to develop a community,
But all that to be said, there's still cats that want to be great at music, do it, and be great, be a great musician. So tonight, a little bit what we want to talk about is just the art of studying yourself, right? And how do you, because that's the hardest thing to do. It's easy, I think, to study somebody else, but studying yourself and turning and putting the microscope on what you're doing is not fun.
This could have a double meaning. So just to clarify, this statement, you're meaning to say studying yourself, what you can do, or studying yourself.
Studying yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't see the double meaning, but
Okay. You don't see it.
I don't see it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but yeah. I guess I'm saying
Studying you or knowing how to study by yourself is what I'm trying to say.
oh well, you could bring that in too. But
Right. Right.
what I'm talking about is taking an inner look, right,
Okay.
at what your deficiencies are,
Okay.
right?
Well, can
And
I offer
how
up a definition for studying?
you got one?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Just the word studying itself refers to the act of learning a subject by reading, investigating, and reflecting on it to gain knowledge or understanding. It can involve applying your mind to a topic, memorizing information, undertaking formal courses, or meticulously observing and analyzing something. The word can also refer to the process of looking at something minutely or giving it careful thought.
All right. I'm so glad we got a scholar on this show, man, because you just
Thank you.
always you know, bring the intelligence to the show. I appreciate that, brother. So that's man, I don't want to look at man, that's the hardest thing to do is
The
look at
microscope?
yourself.
The microscope, bro.
I don't like man, that's a painful that's some painful stuff, man. I'll share. I mean,
Nothing looks pretty in a microscope. If you look at a microscope, you see plankton and microbes. It doesn't look pretty, bro. It's not like glistening like this when you look in the microscope. You're like, yo, this looks great.
I
No,
think
man.
but don't you feel like, man, we've gotten away from that
Oh, yeah,
because
definitely. Because that's called
everything
accountability.
everything now is costume, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's in some kind of costume, you
Yeah.
know. You got the fake hair, you got the fake well, we don't want to go down that road, but there's a lot of just fabricated uh stuff. We'll just say that. But
Yeah.
and I think that the culture, whatever the trends of the day are, so to speak, um, they sometimes dictate uh, a lot of that. So, and sometimes it's because it's not cool to be yourself, man. That's what I get a lot. I mean, I just see that a lot. Like,
Right.
man, what's the real you? I just want to see the real you, you know? Um, so how do you, well, let's take it back to, you know, when you were practicing, working
Hmm.
on stuff, like, because I think there's two sort of like, there's two rooms of development that happen a lot of times for a musician. We're talking about musicians here. So, and if there's other um art forms out there that want to, it could be, my wife's a photographer, or
Right.
there's other things too. But as musicians, you really have two ways of getting to where you want to go. You have your individual practice, right? And then you have what? Performances. So
Right.
those two things, how to make those two things work together is super tricky.
Yeah.
Super tricky. And
Yeah.
super like um that can be a scary process, because a lot of times when I talk to certain musicians, they're like, man, when I was 12 or 13 or 14 or whatever, they were practicing, you know 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, right?
Hmm.
And then because just the natural evolution of what we do is that the older you get, the busier you are, the more you're performing, the less you're going to practice, right? Now there's still guys that can maintain. I try to maintain kind of both sides, but again, that's kind of hard to do. So especially if you're playing a lot, you can easily burn yourself out if if you're trying to kind of keep both of those things going. But when you're young and you have you're not really a working musician yet, right? Your whole goal is on technique and listening to your idols and listening to records and practicing. And now it's watching. Everything is visual. Everything is
Right.
visual. So listening is kind of what is like
Secondary.
that's secondary.
Mhm.
So do you think, well, we'll come back to that because I want to ask you that question of the difference between watching and listening. That's
Right.
that's a good one. We'll bring that back. But talk about just a little bit about your journey of how you were sort of, okay, you go from practicing, then all of a sudden you're on a gig. And how do you, and then you're on a gig and you can't play nothing that you so all of a sudden what you worked on in the practice room doesn't even apply
Right.
to the gig.
I
So
think to
working
answer
that
that question, which is a great question, by the way, I think the answer to that, you have to first be faced with something with something. And for most people, even athletes, I was watching this documentary about Usain Bolt. And there's gotta be, to me, that switch that flips when you realize you're not just the most talented person in the world kind of thing. Because like in
Mhm.
my high school, when I was a junior, I was the best piano player there, right?
Right.
And well, actually a sophomore, I was the best piano player until I went to NOCA that year, New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, where there were people who everybody was killing. And I
Mhm.
was one of the worst piano players. And I was like, huh, not used to this. What
I
is
have
this? I'm the
I have
worst. A 12-year-old girl is playing me down under the table. I'm in 10th grade. I'm like, what is this? And
right.
that's when the switch hit me. It was like, oh shoot, there's another level to this. So I think that's when the studying really came through as well. And also I had started having a sense of responsibility because when my parents got divorced, we were taken from a really, really expensive piano teacher at the time. And my mom, she cried her heart out. She could only provide piano lessons for one student, one person, one kid, and that happened to be me. And so I had to like really take ownership of what I was doing. So it I think that switch has to flip from your parents saying, "Make sure you do your practice, set a timer for an hour, and then you can get a snack
Why you
after."
sound like Tia? Why you sound like Tia, man?
That's
When you
pretty
say
good. I have to use, well, guys.
like,
But that's what I was thinking my mom's and grandmother's voice would be like. They would set the timer and you did it. I started practicing out of being competitive with my brothers. My teacher gave out stickers. And my onus for practicing was to get more stickers or get the newer stickers before they did. But then I was faced with a moment when we did a recital, and my piano teacher, usually, like most people do, have the beginners into the most advanced as last. So me and my brother Don, we were always right next to each other. And so we weren't at the end, but we were way past the middle, right? So heard the last girl play. She played "Fur Elise" by Beethoven. I was in fourth or fifth grade, and I was like, man, that sounds good. I want to play that. It wasn't until that moment where the competition ceased to exist and the love for it. It's like, wait, that's Beethoven. Can I get the sheet music for that and learn it? And so that's when I applied myself. And then after that, I had an insatiable curiosity. Now I could talk about my run-ins with jazz, which takes a different type of studying, but
Mhm.
then so pretty soon people were kicking me out of the living room where the piano was and the TV was. So I'd have to practice at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. To this day, that's my best times to practice and to get something out of it. But anyway, I think that switch had to come in where the love of it, and also this insatiable curiosity had to kick in. And also the other switch of there's other people just as talented as I am, but what differentiates them from me is that they're working hard and probably been working hard since they were 4 or 5 years old. And I started when I was 10. So they already got a huge gap on me already, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you make up that gap if you want to? Or is it insurmountable? Like, or if you're starting to learn how to practice for 4 hours and they're still practicing for 4 or 6 hours, will you ever catch them?
Well, that's a great question.
Right.
Because I think at some point performance outweighs technique. I think
Well, there's other factors to musicality besides technique.
exactly. So because learning how to play with people,
That's
learn how to
different
play
thing
with
too.
other musicians, it really it's not going to say it has very little to do with technique, but there's a different button that you have to be able to push in order to
Right.
do that. So, you know, I look, there are guys, technical phenoms. I will never, this is, it's because that's what they focus on. That's what seems like that's what they want to do. And that's what they've cultivated as their thing.
Right.
So there's some things, man, you see it. Look now, you see kids doing stuff you can't even be. You like, wait a minute, this dude is 10 years 10 years old. He's doing
Yeah.
stuff I can't do. Like,
Yeah.
or I never even thought about
Never thought about it.
doing. So, that's a different thing. But when it comes to studying yourself, the first thing I think about is like, okay, I have to really go one-on-one. I have to look at myself in the mirror, right? I have to be like, okay, it's just me and you, dude.
Right. Right.
And it really becomes what they call man against himself.
Yeah.
That's the first battle that you have to win as a musician, is you have to beat yourself, and that's why, man, when you're younger, you don't have to worry about gigs, you don't have to worry about paying bills, you don't have to worry about being married, have a kid, all that stuff, and you can have that laser focus.
Yeah.
Man, that's the time to really take advantage of that. So when you're looking in the mirror today, I feel like people are looking in the mirror for a different reason, though, because there's so much comparing to what they see on social media that everybody's comparing themselves in a very unrealistic way, and it becomes you're chasing somebody that you don't even know. So that is probably not as good as you think they are, but you're seeing these clips, and that's it. The brain is a powerful thing. Of course, it has an effect, man. It has effect on all of us. You'll see somebody do something, it might be 5-10 seconds, man, and it's like, whoa, what? Like, just for that split second, what, even as an older seasoned guy, you can get tricked, right? Have you not been tricked?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's easy to get tricked. So can you imagine being a young guy and seeing these hundreds of things a day, man, coming at you, just firing, and all of a sudden, what happens? Your focus becomes on that rather than on you, and that's where I think things get a little tricky.
Man, I think that you're right, but even more to that is I think nowadays the opportunity to become a star is like,
that's like the whole,
it's like,
right.
Why do I need to put time into something? I could be a star right now.
Right.
Got 100,000 followers from something I put up. So
Right.
the rush to be a star is like so evident when you can control your own narrative. I mean, we didn't have you can control your narrative. You had to be discovered when we were coming up if you wanted to be a star. I didn't have any dreams of being a star when I was playing this until I had the goods to play, but
Mhm.
now you could have the threat, I'm going to say, of being a star before you even have the goods.
Right.
So I think that more than anything staunch your development because I wasn't even thinking about being a star at 11, 12, 13. Of course, you had those fantasies. I want to be in a rock band, play in front, but it wasn't attainable. Now it quite possibly could be attainable without the talent, without the goods.
Man, most people who become popularity stars are people that were chosen to do that. It
Right.
wasn't, you can only work so hard before you have to be, sometimes it's right place, right time, but more importantly, um, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into
And usually it's your parents. The
being a
parent is
star.
making the decision for you. Like you think about the Jackson 5. None of
Well,
them had that vision.
in any of the childhood that like
Right.
what we brought up, what we
Right.
grew up with was we would see these childhood stars. Very few of them will become adult stars.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
they were because they were the cute kid at the
Right.
time,
Right.
but that runs its course,
Yeah.
after a while. So very few people like Michael Jackson is one of the few, man, that was
Yeah.
a child star as
And
well.
Janet too.
Yeah,
Janet
Janet.
was on Good Times as an actor before
I
she was
know,
singing.
but no, Michael. I'm talking about like, you know, Michael was a bona fide household name at,
Yeah, but
7
they
years old.
were okay. So this is an anomaly because the dad made them all practice. Out of the five brothers, Mike just was distancing himself from them, but they were already in show business. Somebody like Janet, she was a childhood actor that then she went to teen years. Remember, she was with Mr. Drummond and them as Todd Bridges' girlfriend,
Charlene, man.
Charlene. Then she transitioned into doing music. That type of person, you know what I'm saying, is like she went through
Yeah,
three age groups just like that, and that
right,
doesn't happen.
right.
So, but like you said, it's few and far between. But usually the catalyst is that the parents have the vision, like, oh, I see something. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna get extra hours, or like the Williams sisters, like the
Yeah.
Beyonce.
Right.
That's different. Now kids could be their own stars without their parents even being involved,
Exactly.
which
That's
is really crazy,
dangerous, man. It's so
dangerous.
dangerous. It's so dangerous. And we don't want to get too deep into that, but it's like as you said, you can kind of write your own ticket as to what you want to be at this point, and you don't have to really be that to be that.
Right, right,
So it's just like this wide open vortex that and what you're seeing a lot of people out there that are trying to do something that they're really not built for, or uh they have a little, because they're getting, how deep you want to get into the social media thing, because you can buy your followers, you can buy, likes, you can buy all that stuff. It's not always real, you know so but what happens, you're getting that shot of whatever that is, and it's like, and you're living in this like fantasy that's not real. So just like you said, why would you have to develop any real skills
right.
to, if to do anything at this point? But
And I think that leads to what your question is too, is what do you want for yourself?
Well, you
Like
know,
what? So if you study yourself, are you looking for deficiencies, Chris?
well, okay. So that's a great question. So
It's a hard one, isn't it? This one right here, you could sound
well,
like a meanie. If you answer this question for somebody, you could sound
well,
like a meanie,
but
right?
so, but the first thing is that you have to be honest about what you sound like before you can. I mean, you can ask, man, how did? Okay, so let's
There you
build
go.
a
That's
let's build a
it right
scenario.
there.
So
I
here's the
saw the
thing,
switch. I saw the switch. Go ahead.
okay, man, how did I sound? Okay, so we recently were trying to mentor this cat,
Yes.
and every opportunity that he would ask a question, we would give him an honest answer, and he would have an excuse for why something happened. If I, is it
Man,
is verbatim, right? Like
verbatim every day, every time,
every
every
time
occasion.
we would ask him, he would ask something, give him an honest, he would have an excuse. It's like, bro, you asked my opinion. You asked.
And we
I didn't.
already can see what's going on, dude. The vantage point that we have, we already know what the problem is.
So if you're not honest with what you sound like, how is anybody else, you know, gonna now people could are again, I guess it's par for the it's like it's whoever whoever you ask. It's just like the old thing, right? Well, my mom thinks I'm pretty. Well, my mom says I'm good. Okay.
Right.
Well, my dad thinks I can sing. You know. Well, okay. So is that what you're going to take to your? Is that your dad or your mom thinks you're a good singer, or that you're pretty, or that blah 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 blah, and but everybody else is telling you something different? What like? How do you? How do you come? How do you come? Because there's certain things that I had to. Everybody has to come to reality about, right? And it's when you are in the presence of, especially when you're in the presence of people that are better than you at whatever it is that you want to do, that's where you want to know where you stand. Hey man, how do I sound? What do I got to work? Not people that are not as good, or not your, or somebody that's close to you, because they're always going to tell you what you want to hear. So if you're constantly getting told what you want to hear, you're never going to see what it is that you need to work on. Does that?
Have you ever been fooled by your own mind?
Oh, a million times.
Right? In your mind, and as musicians, we got
A
1,000 things
million.
going through our mind. But sometimes we tell ourselves, man, that was killing. And then if you leave it there, you're killing, right? But all it takes is that one time to listen back to yourself, some reference. And you're
Some
like,
people
oh,
don't. Some people don't
man.
know what killing means, man. That's slang for.
Go ahead, say what it is then.
It's slang for that's great.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
I'm making it happen. I am
You got
the
to
best.
remember we have a broad audience. So yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're we're doing I'm doing a great job. I sounded
Yeah.
awesome.
Right. Now, do
If
you
you never listen back to yourself, can you really truly adjudicate yourself if you don't step outside of yourself to listen?
now? Do you think the older you get, it's hard? Like the older I get, I know when I'm sounding okay and when I'm not.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's you
But
know.
you made some mistakes too. You think you sounded bad and you sounded
That's more, I think, but why is that? Because we're more worried about sounding bad than we are good.
Right.
I think this, like, the sort of the new wave is like, I sound good when I sound bad.
Right.
It's like it's kind of flipped. It's like we've tricked ourselves into believing the worst because
Right.
why? Because we always know that there's something to work on and we can always
And then your brain plays tricks on
be
you. So,
better.
like, case in point, last night we were hitting green chimneys, and man, I felt like we were right in it, bro. I just felt
Mhm.
like the groove was strong, the swing was strong. I mean, I just felt like it was levitating, right?
Mhm.
And so that feeling was there. My brain was there. I felt like the ideas were there. And I was like, I wasn't quite sure until earlier today. I think I was getting ready to ride my bike. And then I think Misha posted a clip. Did you see the clip that Misha posted?
I saw a little bit last night and then
And it was right. We were in it, bro. It was
mhm.
like, I was like, oh, I confirmed it. But
Mhm.
isn't that part of being honest with yourself? Is like you have to, and I don't know if you have this as a PowerPoint or not, but if you can't judge yourself, first of all, to judge yourself, you have to have some type of reference that you have to look at from the outside perspective. We
Right.
know a cat, and we've been blessed to see people grow up as musicians. One of those musicians is Brian Hogan's. Man, that cat used to bring a video camera with him to every gig when he was a kid.
Yeah, this is
And
way
he,
before this was in vogue. Way before that was in vogue.
yeah, way before his involved.
Way
And he
before
was,
phones and stuff. Yeah.
he didn't care what he looked like. He had Coke bottle glasses on. You know, he was look a little nerdy, whatever. But after that gig was over with, that kid was rewinding the footage and looking at everything. And not only doing that, he was transcribing. He was like, oh, this was good. I'm going to transcribe that. That was in the moment. I like that. The other stuff, he's like, oh, this didn't work. Can you imagine every gig doing that on piano and saxophone?
Well, but again, those are the people that separate themselves from everybody else.
Right.
And they're very, very good at self-policing. Actually, they're their only competition. It's just
Right.
like they don't even see other, it's like they're in competition with themselves, man. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the right mindset if you want to truly be great, because you have to challenge yourself. Now, of course, there can be a dark side to that too, but um when it comes to challenging yourself to be the best that you can, that's a trait that every, whether it's athletics, music, film, medical, you can, it doesn't really matter what the field is. I think they have that same trait, you know. Um and that to me is because, going back to just like, being honest with how you sound, right? um that can be a painful experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because how do you even, okay, what if you're not sounding how you want to sound, right?
Right.
So then if you're not sounding how you're going to sound, how are you going to solve that problem? Now, if you're a young guy and you're developing, you can't solve that problem by yourself. So here's where we come back to, now this is not really record yourself, right? But we're going to talk about going back to what we always kind of talk about with is who's the mentor around you that can help you solve these problems, because you cannot solve them by yourself. I know you have something to say.
Yeah. Well, that was great because it feeds into Heather's point, where she said, I make my students record themselves often.
Mm-hmm.
That's showing them how to be accountable in policing.
Accountable, right? Yeah,
right.
right. Mm-hmm.
And but you have to be taught that, because if you think about the term police yourself, if you were driving 85 miles an hour and you saw a police officer, what would you do?
Slow down.
Right. Well, if the police officer is not there,
right, you could
you're
just,
not
oh
going to
man,
slow
that's a
down.
great, oh, that's great. That's
Right.
a great one.
So you have to then imagine that the police officer could be there.
Right.
So your teacher is like that police officer that is not there in your lesson, in your individual practice.
Which and that takes a long time.
Right. Or it could take a short time, depends on the cognitive abilities, the student, or whatever, all those things.
It took a long time for me. But anyway.
Right. But usually there's another switch that you have a competitive switch, and that competitive switch it kicks in. You're like,
now that's my switch.
So you're like, I don't have to worry about doing policing myself, because I know I need to get from point A to point B because this person is killing. And I got to get there. Or this group didn't have me in the group. Oh, I'm getting in that group. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So all those things could work in your favor. And sometimes we talked about this on another show about sometimes the competitive thing could be a negative too if you're not careful, But but definitely the thing of policing yourself. And Robert Boone had one where he says the best part of the Red Light Cafe Jam is the live stream. Easy to go to critique yourself. Now, if you have a tool is not useful unless you use it, utilize it. We see people come in all the time at the jam session and record themselves. So is the recording for scrutiny, or is the recording for, I'm going to put this on my page? Right. So yeah, the scrutiny is where it happens, where you have to scrutinize. And that's, again, like you said, it is an individual thing. You don't put on social media, man, I went to the jam session. I suck, man. I was playing invitation, man. They took me off the list. That's how bad my invitation was. No, that's for your own scrutiny, negative and positive. Find out what worked right too. It's like, how did that work? Sometimes I went for something and it wasn't what I went for, but it worked. And I review it and I'm like, oh, that was him. Sometimes I find out I play way too much. But in the moment, I felt like I was right in the pocket.
Right.
So that scrutiny, it's going to get better over time if you have like you said, a mentor or somebody to bounce those ideas off to say, hey, man, have you listened to yourself? Are you listening deeper?
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
When you say that and you go, have you listened to yourself? And they go, yeah.
Okay. And then my next question is, well, what did you hear?
Okay. And if they, because I've heard you tell students, we're going to listen to you. Let's go to see your video right now together. We're going to sit down here and check this out. Yes. Because again, it's all about having somebody who, man, is impartial to. They're not there to blow smoke up your butt, for lack of a better term. You have to be careful about having a lot of yes people around you, because all that does is it creates a false sense of entitlement, and it creates one of my favorite sayings. I learned it from Rick James: delusions of grandeur. It you remember that episode? So, but it really does, because you're never hearing no. This is the problem with, well, I don't want to go into a Shedeur Sanders thing tonight, but
here we go.
No, I'm not gonna go there. But it's like when you when you're never told no, or you're never told what you have to work on, and when it's not happening, it's not happening, man. That's there's no gray area with that. Right. It's like, yes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Art is in the eye of the beholder. All of those things. Some people, they like simple. There's some music that's very simple to play. There's not a lot of technique involved. There's not a lot of chord changes. The beat is very simple. It's very, and that can be very beautiful. That's beautiful. That can be beautiful music too. Not everything has to be deep and complex to be great.
Yeah,
But
sometimes the hamburger is what you need, man. You don't need
it's just,
steak.
yeah.
Whatever,
I mean,
yeah.
you know me, man. I'm brilliant, brilliance in the basics, man. I love
Right.
basic people that can be creative with with basic stuff. But the I think the whole sum up kind of like what I'm saying is, you know, you have to take yourself out of yourself in order to really be able to see what's going on. And that is something that it's a scary thing. It's hard to do.
You
You
got to
know,
tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell it.
I
Thank you,
remember,
Falco.
man, the first time, and I'm gonna stop talking, but the first time, dude, I recorded I was recording my practice sessions. Oh my gosh, bro, listening back because you just had a cassette. It was like a
Yes, cassette tape, man.
the portable cassette player.
Yeah, to the
All of
boom
us
box.
old people remember.
Yeah,
And man, I would just record, and I was recording these in my practice sessions. It was so depressing to hear where I was in terms of trying to I'm the first time I'm now when I get into this recording myself thing, mind you, I am starting to work on some pretty difficult. I'm starting to work on like more Afro-Cuban stuff and like jazz. So I'm in the beginning stages of trying to play some of this stuff, man, and it is an absolute joke. But the thing that it did was it helped me see not only where I was, but where I could go. Because I was like,
right,
man, I can only go up from here.
right.
I can only get
And
better.
this is not
Man,
about crushing your self-esteem. This is about
no.
taking an honest look, right?
Oh my god! I wish
Yeah,
I had.
hey, Falco, I'm glad you put that up because these three comments that's up, they speak to that. Pride will deter progress. This is all about being humble enough to be teachable. Cool. What's up?
That's
Put
great.
Boons up,
That's great.
please.
That's beautiful.
This is great teaching right here. I always have the live stream queued up for any student lesson who comes out. I can see Boom isolated. Minute 436 is where the disaster about to happen. I can see it, but anyway, it helps to show them how to listen critically and discuss other options they could have taken while playing. Great teacher. And the next guy, we got to get you on the show. I'll talk to Chris.
Oh, Bill, we always forget. Sorry, Bill.
Along with studying, listening to the greats. Oh, that might be part of it, Chris. You might have a banner for this. Along with studying and listening to the greats comes a healthy sense of reality in your own playing.
Yeah, man. But if you're listening, that's another. We're not. We're watching now, and I just saw a really great
Right.
post. I'll find it about the great master drummer Dave Weckl talking about this very thing of watching versus listening, and the difference. Here, Tyrone, check this out. Think about this, man. Just you listening to, let's say, let's pick a George Duke, Rush Hour, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why that popped into my head. I've been thinking about that tune actually lately for some reason. Us doing a version of that tune, but you having to listen, you can't see him playing now. You're just listening to that. And so think about your senses in that moment of you're not only hearing the notes, but you're hearing how he's attacking the notes. You're hearing you're listening for every possible green light that can give you anything as to how am I going to learn this particular tune? How am I going to play what he's playing on this recording? It's very different than you watching something. If you were watching him play, you would have a different sense of how you, I mean, it's going to give you a different sense of like how you're going to learn this tune. I think one of the great things that Dave brought up in this post was that, especially for uh any kind of like physical instrument, piano's a physical instrument too, but like drums, like we're not only are we trying to find the pattern that the cat's playing, we're also trying to match his sound. How does this cat get this sound? How is he getting the sound out of this piano? How's he getting the sound out of this snare drum? So it's like you're trying to do all of these things at one time, which gives you so much more uh to work from than if you're watching it, what you're trying to do is you're just trying to copy what he's doing. You're not really trying to get inside whatever they're playing. Do you agree with that, or do you not?
Yeah, other senses distract, because when you're really studying something, isolate something, sometimes your eyes are closed and your ears to the speaker just trying to pick it up. I mean, even the feeling that he evokes, you got to put that on the side to just kind of break it down, because if you're watching it, then you can be easily distracted. It's like, wow, what is he wearing? Wow, is that a Fender Rhodes that he's playing? Looks tricked out. Looks like he got some pedals on and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So for the longest time, it was the audience that was looked at the aesthetics of things, and the musicians didn't look at any of that until somebody told them, hey, you got to be showy on stage. You got to entertain the crowd because the crowd see with their eyes. Now it's musicians are doing the same thing that the audience used to do. It's like they're seeing with their eyes, and
well, they're hearing with their eyes too.
Ears.
You're hearing with
really need to see what they think, because a person has style and work the stage. To them, that's sounding good. They really are fooled into thinking, boy, that person is awesome. But not like Coming to America. He's good. He's good and terrible. You know what I'm saying? I believe the children are the future. You know, but if you are really digging into the music, sometimes the lights are low. Like all your senses are changed. Deprivation of food, everything. All the things that so you can key in on it, right? And so that's highly important, is to listen with the mentality of digging for something, for searching. Remember our definition, right? If we go back to it, it could be investigating and then reflecting. You got to stop playing it even then and reflect back on it to gain knowledge or understanding. It can involve applying your mind to a topic. I also looked up one about what it takes to study jazz. It says listen actively to great musicians. That's to Bill Hatcher's point. But I can't go on without saying, what does it mean to listen actively? And I can probably stop right there and ask you, what is meant by listening actively? Because there's a delineation between hearing and listening. Now you got delineation between listening and listening actively. So what's your 2 cents about that? What if you had to tell somebody what would active listening be? What would you describe that as?
Well, I guess I want to know. So when you're saying active listening, are you talking about being at your instrument and listening at the same time?
Well,
as you're trying to actually pick something out. That's kind of like what I mean, what I get by active.
It definitely could be that, but it's like being really conscious of giving your undivided attention to whatever's going on. It's more than just hearing. It's more than just paraphrasing. It's more than just getting the gist of the thing or the inspiration of the passage that you're listening to. You are trying to really listen with the intent. That's what active listening is. You're listening with an intent for something. And usually it's something that you hear and you're like, what is that? And then all of a sudden you investigate things like, I got to figure that out. If you don't have that trait, you're not going to get better. You have to have that trait to say, what is that? And most of the times, once you figure it out, you're like, wait, is that all that is? Is that
Right.
it's this? But why
Right.
does it? And then you ask the why. Why does it sound so complex?
Mm,
That gets when you get older. It's like then you realize, oh, it's the way he played the phrase or she played the phrase, the rhythmic thing. And you're like, whoa, wait. Now I'm listening to the rhythm of a lick. I just can't come in
mhm,
willy nilly anytime I want to. No, it was probably hit because where I placed it, not where. I promise you, I listened to Coltrane solo on Kind of Blue album just to see where he entered in on his phrases, what beat, and
mhm,
most of them was beat 3, and I'm like, who does that? Who
mhm.
came and said, I'm going to enter my phrases on beat 3? And it was so hip. But how would I discover that, Chris, if I didn't say, I got to figure this out? Just the
Yeah.
entrance of when he
And
comes in.
and that's just, and again, it's like what's interesting to you. I mean, that's what's interesting to you.
Right.
There, somebody else, it could be more. It could be another whatever their idea of what's interesting. That's another thing. That's if everybody's studying the same thing, all we're getting is carbon copies of the same thing. That's another downfall to all of the the stuff that we have now is it's like everybody sounds right because we talked about it. It's like
Mhm.
why does everybody sound the same? Why is everybody? It's because everybody's looking at the same material, just like you said.
Yeah.
Man, you're studying where Coltrane came in on B3. Who
Yeah.
else is doing that? That
Yeah.
gives you something different.
Yeah.
Okay, it's and again, the only reason you get that is because you were doing what you were just talking about is active listening. So here's
Right.
a Bill Hatcher dropped these definitions here. So casual listening would be like music in the car. Active listening is the immersement where you have blocked out distractions, so all you zone in on is the sound. Does that happen now? I don't think it happens as much.
Man,
I
let me
just
tell you
don't.
something.
I don't think that it's as important now. I think people are more concerned about sounding like somebody else because somebody else is getting this amount of attention. I want that attention, so I need to sound like they do. You see it all the time with drummers. I
Dude,
mean, I
I
can't
can't even hear
tell.
music anymore.
I can't tell who's playing what. I don't know who's playing on because everything just sounds the same. And it's like I know that trends. There's always trends. There's trends. 40s, 30s, 40s. Everything has a trend, but at the same time, it's like man, people were bringing their own thing to it.
Are
You
you saying
know,
everybody's drums sound the same too? Everybody's tuning is the same, bro?
and I see another clap stack, bro.
You don't have a clap stack, bro?
I mean, it's more power to you, man. I just, if everybody, it doesn't make you original if you have what everybody else has.
What happened to the
That's
little beads
I'm
that you
not even
used to put
saying
on
that
your cymbals,
original.
bro? What's
I
happened
guess
to that?
original is not the word because being original is not always necessarily that important, but having your own identity is.
You said you
That's
don't want the fad. The fad is not gonna last.
well, I'm not even saying that, but is there another way? Like I just saw a clip of somebody that had one, but the way they were using it was so cool because he was playing parts. It was
Okay.
a it was attached to a part that he was playing. It wasn't just this look at me, I've got my, clap stack or whatever.
Why
And
you don't
I'm
have a clap stack, bro?
anyway, next question.
I'm gonna write a
I'm not
song where you gonna have to play clap stack on it, bro.
okay. Well, yeah, okay. All right. So
You got another
we
bulletin? You got another
talked about
point?
record yourself. Well, yeah, we got a bunch of them. We got a whole bunch of them. And here's my favorite one: find your lane. Because, and that's
Oh,
just what we were talking about,
yeah, yeah.
man. My lane is not your lane. You,
Oscar Peterson is
two
nobody's
of my
like.
favorite. Look, three here in Atlanta. I mean, three of my favorite piano players: yourself, Louis Arivo, Kenny Banks Sr. Y'all don't sound nothing alike.
Not a thing alike.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Because first of all, y'all are from different areas of the country. You
Yeah.
grew up with different influences. I mean, you have some of the same influences, but you grew up in different part, hearing and working on something different. Everybody's skill is not you skill level is all up here.
Right.
But all three of you guys are completely different players, man. Completely different players.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it that's what makes it cool.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about when I don't that's what I don't see as much of anymore is dare to be different. You don't have to sound like why is everybody so infatuated, man, with but again, it comes back to attention thing and this person is getting X amount of likes on social media because of how they
It's
play.
formula. Yeah, it's
So
formula.
that's how I want to play. And all it is figuring out the code, right?
Well, that's what it is. Formula is this. If they say I get 50,000 likes by doing this, then I got to do this. If I'm going to get people clapping, I got to do this. If I want this particular sound, I got to have this red keyboard, boutique keyboard. That's cost $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I got to get this new bass with the Bartolini pickups, and that's what I got to do. Oh, I got to get this new drum set that's by this company. Instead of figuring out how can I make this work, you know?
I mean, if that's your goal, fine. But
Jody Mayfield says, "Here's a Jody truth: stay in your lane. There's no traffic there. Go as fast as you want.
just do your thing, man.
Do
Do
your
your
thing."
thing.
And we're not talking about
Do your thing.
get rid of the fundamentals and get rid of the stuff. We're
It has nothing
saying
to do with the fundamentals.
no. Find out. Look, I bet if anybody wanted to run like Usain Bolt, they would love to, or jump like Michael Jordan, they would love to. But nobody has those gifts. That doesn't mean that you should stop. It mean or try to copy that. Find your lane. Find what you do. If you're not fast in Usain Bolt, you might have more endurance than Usain Bolt. You might be a 1,500-meter person.
I mean, it just seems like speed and gymnastics and pyrotechnics have replaced skill, you know, and
That's everything, bro.
it's gonna be man, it's gonna be a rude awakening, though, man. I hate to say it because at some point all of this is gonna come to an end, just like everything else. It's like
Yeah, bro.
everything comes in cycles, and when this cycle is over, man, it is going to be, man, it's going to be some mess, man. I mean, if you can't, and I'm not saying this to say like, you know, you have to, and back in my day, we walked through 10 feet of snow to get to school.
But your legs were stronger though.
I don't even care. It's like, dude,
I mean, you got to look at it. A person who's getting driven to school, their quad's not going to be as developed as the person who's walking 10 miles. They may get there faster. That doesn't mean you're going to be stronger. I was thinking about this the other day. I was when you go on the road and stuff like that, you have to manufacture ways to get some type of exercise, right? So I was on like this 8th floor or 10th floor or whatever. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take after we had rehearsal, whatever. I said, I'm going to put my gym clothes on and I'm going to go down to the gym and I'm going to walk up the stairs. And I walked the 10 flights of stairs, bro. And you know what I thought about? 9/11, when people couldn't use the elevator to get out of the building, and 44 flights of stairs to get down, you found out real quick the ones who were in shape. The ones that were real strong was able to make it down those stairs real fast. So one day, as a musician, we take so many shortcuts. You're gonna find out real quick when you get the opportunity that you took too many shortcuts, and your legs wasn't strong enough.
Well,
I mean, maybe that's a macabre way of illustrating a point. But I thought about that as I climbing up the stairs. I thought about it personally. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to get out this building as slow as I was going up 10 flights of stairs. I made it, but I was like, I was dizzy, about to pass out. But that told me, as a Tyrone, you got to get in better shape.
so find your lane. What does that mean to you? Does that mean
It's a positive message. It's positive in the face of killing your self-esteem and being negative about yourself. It's finding an alternative. It's like, okay, I can't do that. I'm not gifted with that to do. I don't have long fingers. So I grew up loving Oscar Peterson, Art Tatum. I just came to a point where physically I can't do what they're doing. Does that mean I need to give up because Oscar Peterson I put in quotes, was my favorite piano player? Still love Oscar Peterson. There's no way I can play Oscar Peterson. His hands are too big. Rachmaninoff, for that matter, is too big. So I had to pivot. Well, what piano player had smaller hands? Well, Bill Evans had cluster voices. Oh, I fell in love with that. McCoy Tyner had this power thing that was going on. I was like, oh, I could do that. So that's what I started listening to. I had speed, but the width of the fingers to do. David and Donald would kill me with that because they had big hands. But I had to find out what my lane was, bruh. And you just pivot, find your lane, run that.
I mean, over the years we both worked with a lot of different artists, a lot of different styles of music. I mean, I'm always sort of the person that, you know, I encourage people to, because I always believe in working on something. You might not never play it live, or it might not, but if it's a good puzzle piece for you, it's a good challenge. You want to keep challenging yourself because it will make you better at what you are already good at. That's how I look at certain things. So I'm always, there's always something that I'm kind of trying to work on that, man, I'm not going to take this to the stage. There's no reason to take it to the stage. But is it going to help me be better at what I'm already good at? And that's kind of like how I look at stuff. It's just like people that cross train. I know rock musicians that they're studying a standard or something, that's completely out of their wheelhouse, but they like it. And even though they're not interested in being a jazz musician, they know that there's something in that they're getting from that's going to help them be a better rock musician, right? You hear about these stories all the time, and I love when people are doing that. So find your lane doesn't mean that you just, all I do is, I just do one thing.
Dude, there's some keyboard players who are maybe not have a lot of speed, a lot of chops, whatever, but their sound design, like creating sounds and putting together and knowing where that stuff goes, that's an art within itself. If that's you, find that lane, because there's a lot of room for a person who can match up sounds and create their own sounds and get their
right.
Anyway. Yeah. All right, what's the next one?
I think that falls into this. Sorry, Brian, I'm beat you to this one, but it's like, accept who you are, but there's always a better you.
Yeah.
Which goes back to once you find the lane, okay, trying to think of, man. Yeah, I'd love to play like El Negro Hernandez. That ain't gonna happen.
Oh,
I mean, that's not gonna happen, man. First of all,
yeah.
I'm not Cuban. Second of all, I wasn't born hearing,
Yeah.
4 against 6 when I first. I mean, there's so many factors
Variables, right, right.
that go into why somebody is so deep at what they do.
But does that
Sometimes,
stop you from studying the music though? And
no,
what are you
it
doing?
doesn't. It does
Yeah.
not. But because I love it, but I'm not. I know man, dude. I remember, man. I was playing with these cats. I'm talking about some deep cats, man, from Cuba. The minute they started what they were playing, I had no idea what a one was at all.
Well, that happens so much.
And I was just like, so instead of me forcing myself into where I just put the sticks down and just like, listen. But isn't that, it's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
knowing your lane.
Yeah.
It's like, I am out of my depth here, man.
Yeah.
Know when
Yeah.
that's another thing, man. Know when you're out of your depth. Like,
Yeah.
put whatever you're doing down and just listen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of, I think sometimes we get frustrated at some of these sessions that we do because people are out of their depth, but they will still try to force their way in. And it's like, man, why? Because it's your ego. That's why. You
I heard a story. Branford told me this since it's Branford's birthday. One of the best music movies of all time. Now I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. Denzel, Spike Lee.
Mo Better?
Mo Better Blues. Thank you. So there's that fight scene, right, where Denzel ends up trying to help Spike Lee out, right?
Right, after gambling. Again, yeah,
Right.
he's a degenerate.
But right before that goes down, they're playing this burning tune, hitting all these notes.
Yeah.
Now, Terrence Blanchard did the soundtrack.
Yeah, right.
That scene, Branford told me, Terrence Blanchard said, "Hey, bro, I need your brother to play this." And he's like, "Man, you got it." Terrence said, "I could play that." He said, "But we really need Skane to come in." Skane is Wynton's nickname, right?
Right.
Matter of fact, if you go look at the soundtrack, it doesn't even say Wynton's name. It says his pseudonym on there as well. But
okay,
Wynton is,
I love
yes.
it. I didn't know that. Okay.
I didn't know either until Branford told me. I looked back at it. He's like, Wynton came in, cut that mug in one set, and Terrence was like, I couldn't have done that. Now, this is Terrence Blanchard, which we know he could have done something like that.
That's incredible. That's yeah.
But he recognized that that's what it needed, and he called in.
Right.
Yeah. And we all have friends, Chris, that we know on our instruments we can get the job done, get it accomplished. Call this cat for this.
Right. I mean, my dream is to produce a record, man, where I have other drummers that I want to call because there's certain things that I want I can't do. I know I can't do it, and I'm not trying to do it. So I want to be able to call them to do it. I've been blessed to have worked on some some records that drummer friends of mine have produced where I'm like, dude, why aren't you playing? And they're like, nah, man, I'm just on because you got that thing for you can just do it. I had to work. I could do it, but I had to work at it in order to do it. And I'm trying to get this record. I don't have time to do that. Right. So sometimes it's not like it's like that you physically maybe couldn't do it. It's the same thing that I'm looking at with Terrence Blanchard. It's like he could play at that, but to get what he wants, he's gonna call the man.
Right.
And there's that's incredible. I didn't know that. That's incredible.
I actually got a session, and I got to do this person's impersonation. Grant Green Jr. said, "Hey, I need Chris Burrows on this Alfie track. I need him on this track because I need somebody who stir the soup, man. Know how to stir the soup." I was like, "Oh man, that's that Alfie one where you were playing brushes." He said,
"Oh, I remember that. I remember
he's
it.
like, I need Chris to do that." So yeah, you're exactly right.
I mean, and that's and that could be anybody. It's just like,
Right.
but knowing what your, I mean, man, and there's things I'm sure you've been called for. I'm like, why am I here?
Right, exactly.
This is not what I do.
Right,
I mean,
right.
That's happened a couple times. Like,
Right.
I'm like, man, why didn't you call so and so for this?
At one
I don't
time.
know.
One other time I had a session to play organ, but at that time I couldn't get an 800 East to record. So I called up Larry and I said, "Bruh, I hate to ask this, but I need to come record this organ part." That's before I had one, right?
Yeah.
Bruh, I was so self-conscious of playing that organ part in front of Larry. And the saving grace was Larry had to take a phone call. And he said, "Hey, bro, just everything's set up. Just press spacebar when you're ready to record." I was like, "Thank you, Lord, bro. I hurry up, record that bad boy." Got out of there, bro. I was like, it would have been much easier for him to play this than me,
Right.
But
right.
And now I'm much better now. But at that time, it wasn't. And that goes to your point. I can't see the banner, but wasn't the banner something about I can't remember what it said.
It was.
But there's always a better you. So now I would enjoy playing organ in front of Larry. And I did at the Sean's funeral,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, at that time, I wasn't shedding on organ like that. So, but now I would be pretty confident. Even though Larry's a killer organ player, I'd be like, "Yo, check this out, bro." He'd be like, "Oh," he'd probably say, "You've grown," So
Right.
accept who you are.
Right.
But I know there was a better version of Around the Corner, And shout out to Pat Bianchi, just changed my life hearing that cat. That really just changed my life. So that put me on a path to be better because I heard what was could happen with the instrument that I hadn't heard before, which was me playing it,
Well, you heard it before because you've heard it on records, but it's still,
but I didn't witness it in person.
You hadn't witnessed it, and that's completely different. Which is, man, is another thing that you hate for the young guys developing is that it's harder and harder to go and see. Whether it's their idols or just the great local musicians that were playing 7 nights a week, and you could go out and you could hear somebody play and get inspired. So, that's I hate that one too. But all of these things, it's like you're as a developing musician, the hardest thing is to know what you have to work on. And the thing that I would say for me that is always worked, and then something that never works is if I'm so the thing that and you can verify this for yourself or you might have a different take on it, is for me, if I'm jumping around trying to work on a bunch of different stuff at the same time, nope,
it'll never materialize.
Man, because I was never focused on anything. I was always dabbling on a lot of different stuff, right? So I never, like, for instance, I remember working on, I must have worked on Spain, the tunes, Chick Corea composition Spain, for months before I even thought about trying to play that joke live with somebody. I heard it, and it was like that was just like that was one of those for me. That was like a light bulb moment when I heard that tune, and then I began my own journey on trying to learn how to play that tune. Like that was one of those that I can say like that's one of the the turning points in my development. Chameleon was another one. Spain, but Spain a lot because I was trying to figure out the Latin thing and trying to get into the cracks. This is before I really went and got into the Afro-Cuban stuff and the Brazilian. So I was working on the samba stuff, and that, man, opened a door. Woo! That was, but I spent dude, when I tell you I spent hours on that, just that tune. But it paid so many dividends because after I kind of got it, and then I mean, and even like being able to play that live with like whoever it was, I think Takana, like we used to play that sometimes, like play it with different people. And it was just always like this thing of like, okay. And then from there, it was like a lot of other stuff that was maybe kind of similar, but maybe not as hard or something like that became easy. You know, you find these, they're kind of like chain links, right? Where you figure one little thing out and then you start to link other things to them. But if you're constantly, man, jumping around and like not focused on one thing for a long period of time, I was at a good conversation with with our brother Tom Gross one time, and he was like, man, people wonder why I know so much about specific things. He's like, dude, because I would take 6 months and I would only work on that. You know, I would take 6 months, and then I would work on that, and then I would take 6 months, and that's how you do it, man. I mean, what's your experience with that? Do you feel like that's the same for you, or did you have a different?
No, I mean, implementation is always the great equalizer to let you know that you really don't know it. You can practice it over and over again, because like what you're talking about is just like focus practice. But then when you go to play it, then there's another notch that you have to figure out. Oh, I thought I had it down, but when I have to go implement it and go in my playing, it doesn't come out. So what does that mean? That means now every gig that you have or every opportunity you have to play, you have to try that little nugget out to see if you can implement it from conception into existence. And so there's a reason why there's summer leagues where LeBron James plays.
Right.
He's not working on his dunking.
Right.
He can already do that.
Right.
He's working on his 3-pointer that 2 steps over to the left side that he doesn't normally do, that people have game plan for him already. But he has to have real runs. He's got a gym in his house. I guarantee you he's practicing that shot every day. But he's got to realize in real game action if that's going to work.
Man, Reggie Miller talking about those summer games when he was at UCLA and the Lakers, and Magic, and flying in Michael Jordan, and all these cats coming in during the summer. He was like, man, the get down on those games, it was serious.
Yes,
it was serious. Like, he's like, man, I can't even tell you some of the stuff that we saw, because those guys were that was the championship for them, not NBA. It was
right.
And that, I think, has been sort of lost in translation, in terms of like how we're approaching things now. It's not to really become a master of what we're doing. It's to be popular at what we're doing.
You know what? You made me think about something too with studying, since we're talking about studying. When I got to college, I was always used to studying by myself, but then when I got to college, there were some things I just couldn't really comprehend fully. And so then I got introduced to group study, where you had a group of people studying something. And conceptually, you have to do that with other band members, other people of your same instrument as well. Man, just get together and shed on something. Like, man, and that person may hip you to something, and you can hip them to something. Just those little shedding sessions right there is like a group study.
Yep.
Or when we get together and practice, like when me, you, and Craig was getting together, couple of times in a row. We were like, man, you would say, hey, this is my idea about a song. I was like, well, what if we did this? He was like, man, I like that. Then Craig would play something. I was like, man, what are you playing, Craig? And
Mhm.
you would hear it, but I wouldn't hear it. So I would be like, can y'all slow that down? Remember? I would
Mhm.
be like, y'all
Mhm.
slow that down until I got it. Then when I got it,
Mhm.
I had to do my own individual shed time. And I told you, I was like, man, I got it now. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
got it.
Mhm.
But that group study is really important too, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I know it's a lot thrown at you, but you know, it's tough to get your thing together, and um some of that comes through studying other people, but a lot of it is going to be studying yourself, you
Right.
know, and I'm sort of like, even recently I found some tells like in my playing. Like I know I have tells of like when I'm really when I'm really in it, and then when I'm not. And this is sort of like through self-analysis of um it could have, like, watching myself play,
Right.
seeing how I'm reacting to other players around me, and saying to myself, man, I gotta break this habit right here. This is not good.
Well, I
Like,
mean, last time you played at Red Light, you immediately went and watched this stuff. So why did
I
you do that?
always do. I always
Right.
do. Because I just want to see, like, man, okay, was it as good or as bad as I thought it was? And I'm
Right, right,
speaking me
right,
personally. Like, I'm not
right,
thinking about anybody else but myself.
right,
And but it's a good way to just, man, to to keep yourself in check. You have to
right,
keep yourself in check. And you get to at a certain, there's a certain point in your playing where it's always going to be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
what's the what's like the is that enough for you? Is that enough? Is that enough to be pretty good? There's time, like last night. It's like, man, I gotta get back on brushes. I was on brushes hard, dude, for like,
right,
and it was just like but then it was like it's easy to get off of something because you're either not doing it, or something else starts to like take precedence in your whatever it is that you're working on. You may have to work on stuff for you have a lot of gigs coming up or something. You have
hmm
to learn a lot of music or whatever. But like, so I'm always sort of, that's another thing. It's like, man, why did I drop? It was good. I was seeing
right,
progress.
right,
Got
right.
to keep it going. So all of that, it's never perfect, but you definitely, for me personally, uh self-analysis, I get better by checking myself than worrying about what somebody else is
Yeah.
doing.
Well, man, we got to do a part two on this because we still got some other layers to uncover for sure.
Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good
Yeah.
to me. All right, guys. Well, thanks for your comments, questions. We will for sure keep the door open, and you can always hit us up about any of the subject that we talk about, even afterwards. Send us a message if you got a question, if you have something you didn't think about. Don't hesitate to let us know. So with all of that, man, ain't enough going. I tell you what, man, it's it's football season, man. It's, I'm just it's here,
You're not going to invite your boy over to watch something, bro?
man. I gotta go up, and I'll be out of town well, I'll be watching at my in-laws because we're going up for Labor Day. But man, I just
Oh,
got the
cool.
lounge set up, bro. The
I
lounge is
could
just
I could
it's
lounge sit for you,
up,
bro. I
man. Somebody needs to.
could
I need
lounge sit, bro.
I got it. I got it, man. The only thing I can't put up is that second TV.
You got overruled for that?
Well, but the second TV go up when she ain't here. So that's why I was trying to stay at home. I had a second TV up. But actually this week it doesn't make sense because there's only a few games, so everything is spaced. But like when you get that Saturday or that Sunday, you know what I mean? But now actually they got the multi-screen.
Oh yeah, I love that YouTube TV. And you can customize that joint too.
Customize that joint, man.
Love that boy, bad boy. Yeah.
Nothing like having a sports bar atmosphere at the house, man. The sports bar, iPad, 2 TVs. Oh man, it's coming. It's coming.
Falgout, come on, bro. What are we gonna do with it, bro?
It's coming. It's coming. All right, guys. We appreciate all of your supports and your love, and we will see you guys next week.